Uh-oh. Sorry, guys. Hey, listen. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. My name is Dennis Brown. Today, I'm going to share with you 5 of the biggest lies that people tell about freight broker sales. Okay. So I'm going to give you 5 big lies that people tell about freight broker sales. I'm going to totally debunk them. They're totally wrong. And I'm going to explain what they are and why. So that's what we're going to talk about today. For those of you that catch me on replay, hit me up in the comments with hashtag replay. Love to hear from you. For those of you that are going to catch me live here and are just joining the stream right now, amazing. Thank you for being here. Hit me up in the comments with the city and state you're logging in from. I'll try to do some shout outs as people get live and as we start the training. So here's going to be the agenda. I'm going to do the live training. We're going to talk about those 5 biggest lies. And then we're going to go into live Q&A. Now you need to hold your questions until the end because I will definitely miss them in the stream. We stream this to YouTube and Facebook and LinkedIn and X/Twitter. So yeah, just make sure that you hit me up with the questions and hold them to the very end. I will do my absolute best to try to answer those questions for you. Let's give some quick shout outs. Welcome Devin Coleman from Markham, Illinois. Welcome Corey from Billings, Montana. Welcome Carl from Bethlehem, Georgia. Jomo Mighty, I know he's from Florida. He's always here. Welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me. Appreciate you being here today. Again, I'm going to share with you 5 of the biggest lies that people tell about freight broker sales. The goal here is to kind of expose these lies for what they are and to give you a little bit of direction to take if you've been trying to build your business based upon one of these many lies. Okay. So here's my outline. It's short, but there's going to be a lot in here. Welcome, Jomo. Welcome, PJ from Atlanta. Welcome, Lynette from Nashville, Tennessee. Welcome, Davon from Fayetteville, Arkansas. Welcome. Welcome, Paul. Thanks for being here. So happy you guys are here. Hope you guys are having a great week. At the beginning to a week. Hope you guys enjoyed your weekend. I know that we had a lot of great weather here in Buffalo, so, I did a little sun and fun, but I did sunscreen. So you see, I did bump my head when I was doing some work at my property. I banged the crap out of my head and got a big dent there. Such is the life of a career bald guy. But in any event, did get a little sun and fun, enjoyed that. Hope you guys did too. And just give about a minute here and we're going to start the training. So bear with me. The price of admission, guys, here's the price of admission. I don't need your email address. I don't need your credit card. I don't need any of that. All I need you to do right now is to hit the like button and share the stream. Hit the share button. If you're on LinkedIn, repost it. If you're on Facebook, share it with your network. If you're on YouTube, hit the share button and, share it to one of your social channels, right? Appreciate it. We get almost all of the people that find out about us find out organically. We don't do a lot of paid ads. So the word of mouth is greatly appreciated. We appreciate it when you do share it. And again, if you want me to continue doing these free weekly trainings, the price of admission is engage. Hit the like button, comment later when you have a question or follow along here as we go along. And make sure you try to share the stream. I appreciate it. I notice everybody that shares the streams. Trust me, I go through. It's not that many people. So I notice every single one of those people that share the stream, and I know who they are. So I appreciate it. All right. So without further ado, we got a few people live. Most people will catch this on replay. Hit the like button now, and then I'll get started. I'm going to look for some of these likes to show up. There's no free lunches, people. There's no free lunches. All right. You didn't see, a gated credit card in order to get in here. Al Sadiq from Boston, Dennis from Florida. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, cool. PJ from Atlanta. And of course, Jomo from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. All right, guys, here we go. Let's get the show on the road. All right, so the 5 biggest lies that people tell about freight broker sales. Now, these lies have been around for many, many years. And in my various trainings, I've tried to dispel these lies over the year. But today, If you are struggling with getting shippers as a freight broker or a freight agent, one of these lies is probably a big part of the problem and one of the challenges that you're facing. So that's why I want to share these with you today. Again, number one, we're going to start out. We're going to get through this really quick. Number one is, if you just memorize this generic sales script, you'll get customers. Okay? If you just memorize this generic, boring, old school sales script, you'll be able to get customers. And the fact is, those scripts rarely, if ever, work. And the problem is, you have to make hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of calls per day in order to get lucky enough with one of those scripts for them to work. So just memorizing a generic script, there's 3 of them that I've talked about in the past. You know, the old, hey, my name's Dennis, I'm a new freight broker. Hey, I was wondering if I could just move some of your loads, right? You're just going straight at it, that generic, very salesy pitch. That script, everybody's heard. Every shipping manager, logistics manager, warehouse manager has heard that script, and they don't want to hear it again, so stop using it. Another one, hey, my name's Dennis, you know, with XYZ, we've got trucks in your area regularly, and I was just wondering if we might be able to move some of your freight. Yeah, the old, we've got trucks in your area. Well, first of all, you're a broker, you don't have any trucks. But second of all, they've heard that pitch too many times, all right? And then number 3, you know, hey, my name's Dennis from XYZ Logistics. I was wondering if we could save you some money on your truckload freight, right? The old, hey, I can save you money. That sounds great on paper. The problem is you've now painted yourself in the corner. And now if your rates aren't cheaper than everybody else's, you can't get the business. And if your rates are cheaper than everybody else's, you're probably not going to make any money. Okay. So the old, just memorize this script and you'll get shippers. That's a huge lie. That's a big lie. That's one of the things that I dispel in my Freight Broker Sales Accelerator program, my coaching program. That program is something where I've trained over 1,000 students in that sales training and coaching program. And again, if you want to get on the wait list, you can check that out at freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. It's sold out. You can't get enrolled right now, but I will be opening it in the near future. And if you get on the wait list, you'll be the first to get notified. So I hope that helps. All right. Number 2, biggest lie. You need to be an extrovert in order to be good in sales, meaning you have to be one of those people that's the life of the party and you're a charismatic speaker and you like to tell jokes and you're the center of attention at every party, right? You have to be that extrovert in order to be good in sales. And that could not be further from the truth. There are extroverts that are good in sales. But what I've found is that introverts sometimes are better at sales. Now, you may find this hard to believe, but I'm an introvert, okay? Yes, I know I'm sitting here on video. Yes, I know I've done a lot of these trainings. Yes, I know I've been in business for a long time. But the fact is, that's hard for me. My natural tendency is to be more of an introvert. I like spending time alone. I like reflecting alone. I get exhausted from parties, right? And so ultimately, I'm an introvert, whether you believe it or not. And introverts can do extremely well at sales because, number 1, they have a tendency to listen more and talk less, okay? So that's a huge leg up in sales. I promise you. Sales is way more about listening than it is talking, all right? So you do not have to be an extrovert, life of the party in order to be good at sales, especially as a freight broker, okay? All right, number 3, you need to make 200 phone calls a day in order to get shippers as a freight broker. Wrong. Now, there are people, if you make 200 phone calls a day, then you will probably talk to some prospects because someone's going to pick up the phone. But if you have a generic sales pitch, right, you don't know how to overcome objections, you don't know how to be different, you don't have good questions that you're asking, if you don't do a lot of the fundamentals of sales, it doesn't matter how many dials you make, okay? So ultimately, I can tell you this right now, emphatically, I never, ever, as a freight broker, made 100 to 200 dials on the phone a day ever. And I was able to get shippers every single week as an introverted freight broker, right? As a guy who's an introvert. I know many of my students who have taken the frameworks and taken the trainings that I've done in the freight broker sales arena, particularly my freight broker sales accelerator, and have converted them without making hundreds of cold calls a day. They're making 30 to maybe 50 calls a day and outreach via email and LinkedIn. And we teach a multi-channel outreach approach, but you don't need to make 100 to 200 dials a day in order to get customers as a freight broker or freight agent. I promise you, I never made that many calls. The top salespeople I've seen in the industry never made that many phone calls in order to get shippers, and neither will you if you apply the correct frameworks and you have the right strategies, okay? All right, number 4. The secret to sales is to always be closing, right? That old 1980s sales mantra from the old movie Glengarry Glen Ross, where they were selling garbage real estate to old people. That movie has a star-studded cast: Jack Lemmon, Alec Baldwin, all kinds of great actors in that movie. But the strategies that they talk about, always be closing, that's garbage. I don't know if it worked in the 80s, but here's what I can promise you now. It doesn't work now. Not in B2B sales. It doesn't work. You can't be that pushy salesperson, right? You got to understand that buyers have access to more information than ever before for buying products because of the internet, because of social media, because of their online presence, because of AI, because of all the tools that are available. They have access to more information and more data to make good decisions. They do not need you to be pushy. They do not need you to always be closing. My strategy, my theory that I've kind of created off of that, spun off of that, is to always be giving value, giving information, giving access, right? So that's the difference. You definitely don't want to be the always be closing. You want to be more the always be giving. All right. That's number 4. And number 5, this is the one, this is the death kiss. So lean in. This is the one that everybody thinks you have to have, and it's the biggest lie going. You have to be the cheapest in order to get shippers. Wrong, dead wrong, 100% wrong. I was rarely, if ever, the cheapest, and we built an $80 million a year brokerage, okay? And the best brokers that I know in the world, and I know a lot of them, are rarely, if ever, the cheapest. Now, they may or may not be the most expensive. If this is the cheapest and this is the most expensive, they're usually somewhere in the middle, okay? Or on the bottom middle or the top middle, depending upon the types of service they offer. And so ultimately, that is a huge lie. It's a huge challenge for people, because people think that, well, I got to go in and I got to beat the current rate. If I beat the rate by $5, they'll give me a chance. They'll give me the load, right? You'll even hear shippers say that sometimes. Here's what happens when you hear a shipper tell you, hey, if you can beat my current rate by $5, I'll give you a chance at the load. Here's what you need to do. You need to pick up and exit stage left. I promise you, it's an absolute waste of time to deal with those shippers, right? If they're focused exclusively on price, you don't want anything to do with them. Find shippers, find customers, find people that appreciate the value that you can bring to the table, and develop those relationships around service and value versus just price, okay? So those are the 5 biggest lies that freight brokers, that people tell about freight broker sales. And so listen, I hope you guys appreciated this. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share, and comment below. Let me know what you guys think about this. On a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being, hey, Dennis, this was a waste of my time. 10 meaning, hey, listen, I absolutely love this. Please give us more videos like this. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, with any questions that you have in the comments, obviously. So listen, appreciate you guys being here. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you next week. All right. So for those of you that are going to stick around for the live Q&A, all right, for the live Q&A, hold tight. Welcome the Red Bow from Charlotte. Welcome Dennis from Florida. Welcome. So for those of you that are going to stick around for the Q&A, hold tight. Let me grab a quick drink, and then we will jump into some questions. I'd love to hear your guys' feedback. Oh, awesome. Thank you. 10, 10. Awesome. Listen, if it's not a 10, that's fine. If you think it was a 5, then give me a 5 and tell me why it was a 5. All I'm trying to do is get feedback. I'm not trying to placate my ego. I don't need that. Okay. I've already been blessed with a lot of success in business. I don't need you to placate my ego. If you truly believe I brought value, great. Give me a real score. If you didn't, tell me how I could improve it. That's all I'm trying to do. That's all I'm looking for from you. Okay. So if you enjoyed it, also make sure you hit the like button, because I know there's quite a few people who have not liked it. I can see here we've got a bunch of people live. Most of people are on YouTube, and then some are on Facebook, and I think some are probably on LinkedIn. And so, cool. All right, awesome. All right, guys, listen. Let's jump into the live Q&A. If you have questions about today's training, or you have questions about Freight Broker Startup, or you have questions about how to become an agent, or you have questions about how to source carriers or doing rating, hit me up in the comments. Any of those questions related to Freight Broker Startup or getting customers or anything to do with a freight broker, hit me up in the comments below. I will do my absolute best to try to answer them. I guarantee you I won't get to everybody's question because I rarely can in the time allotted, but let's see it. Yes, Jomo brings up a really good point. The reason why you don't need to make 100 or 200 calls a day, number one, if you have to make that many calls, then your strategy is bad, your sales system is bad, and you need to upgrade that. Number two is making a couple hundred calls a day every day is a guaranteed recipe for burnout. The problem is if you burn out before you're able to secure and establish, a real customer base, the problem is that, particularly as a startup who's just learning the ropes, sometimes that's enough to put you out of business, right? And to put you on the sidelines. So yeah, high volume, smile and dial call center type approach to sales is not my cup of tea. I believe in quality over quantity, but there's a balance, of course. So yeah, Jomo, thank you so much for pointing that out. I appreciate it. All right, question. The prospect requested a quote for the entire year because fuel prices constantly change. I can either give a stable price to mitigate my risk or give a lower price, but I have to warn the prospect that it can change in a couple of months. Should I honestly describe the situation to my prospect and let her choose for herself, or give a stable high price without any explanation? Okay. So what your prospect is asking you for is an annual rate. Okay. They want, and it appears like they're looking for a flat rate of some sort. There's a couple different strategies you can deploy here. One is you can do a freight plus fuel. So you have a line haul per mile rate, right? Plus fuel that flexes. As fuel goes up, your fuel surcharge goes up. If fuel goes down, your fuel surcharge goes down. Okay. You're trying to mitigate the risk of fuel going up, right? Because you don't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen to the price of diesel and oil and all that. So that's one way you can mitigate it, is with a line haul, which is a per mile rate plus a fuel surcharge that flexes up and down, right? So that will help you to mitigate that. Number two, I agree with you. Trying to commit to an annual rate in any market, right, is extremely difficult. And so my suggestion is, you could have a conversation with her. I like your approach of describing it and asking her which one she prefers. You could give her a lower spot market rate, because really what she's asking you for is a contract rate. The difference between spot and contract is this: spot market rates are typically lower than contract rates. The reason being is because contract rates are for a longer period of time. Maybe that's a 1 month or 3 month or 6 month or 12 month contract, but contract rates are higher. So your mentality and thought process of offering a higher price that gives you a little bit more stability and a little bit more flexibility long-term makes sense. But I do like your approach of just simply saying to her, listen, I could probably save you a lot of money if we're able to do a spot market rate versus a long-term contract rate. Would you like me to give you the two different prices? And maybe you can give them two prices. The spot market is what the current spot market is this week. And then the contract rate is what the rate would be in order to guarantee that service into the future. So I do like your approach, and I think you're on the right track. I'd like to see you kind of deploy that per mile, that line haul plus fuel method, because it will help you flex with fuel. So I hope that helps. Mirama asked, Dennis, what would you say when you send a cold email and the procurement manager comes back with email stop? What is your input on this? Okay. All right. So Mirama, I don't know the context of all of this. I'm assuming you only sent them one email based upon what you're telling me. I don't know if you've had phone conversations with them or other conversations with them, but here's the thing. You have to be very careful not to alienate prospects. So something in that email set them off, right? Either maybe they were in a bad mood, you caught them at the wrong time, or maybe it was your messaging or whatever the case may be. My suggestion to you is to not email them again because they've already told you to stop. So you should honor their request there. But that doesn't mean that you can't reach out to them through LinkedIn or through phone or face-to-face. But here's the reality. You're going to have to make sure in this case that you are not salesy. You soften it up a lot. What I would probably do in that case is I would probably try to connect with them on LinkedIn and try to build some familiarity, build a little bit of trust at distance. Okay. And then from there, based upon the success I have with that, maybe I would reach out to them via phone after that. But the reality is, don't get too worked up about someone telling you to stop emailing them, because there are tens of thousands of shippers out there. You need to find and focus on people that have a need, okay, and want to do business with you. You shouldn't have to beat people over the head to do business with you, right? So I wouldn't get too caught up in it. I wouldn't be too upset about it. I would probably deploy a couple of those strategies to maybe try to develop some sort of a dialogue, but I wouldn't email them any further. That's probably just going to lead to a really bad impression, right? And it's going to probably aggravate them even more. Imagine if somebody emailed you and you told them to stop emailing you, and then you send them another email. I wouldn't do that. You would probably be pissed. It's happened to me, and I can tell you that I've tore people up via email and LinkedIn when I told them to stop messaging me and they didn't. Okay. So I hope that helps. Devon asks, can you go over your LinkedIn approach to prospect customers? You're totally right. The 100 calls a day is not the way in today's time. Okay. So there's really two primary strategies on LinkedIn. Okay. It's very, very simple. The primary one, the one that's the most effective today, is for you to publish content, publish updates frequently, 3 to 5 days a week or more, into your LinkedIn feed. And that content is specifically geared towards your target market. Now, you have two primary targets as a broker. One is carriers, one is shippers, right? Those are your stakeholders, right? Those are the people that you're trying to connect with. So that content can be geared towards either of those. And so posting that content to your network is going to create engagement, okay? And so maybe you're going to get 3 or 5 or 10 or 50 or 100 people to like that content. Maybe you're going to get 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 people to comment on that content. But the important thing that you understand is that you're putting a post out there. It's costing you 0, maybe 15 minutes of time, and you can touch hundreds or thousands of people. Now, that content is not salesy. You're not trying to beat people over the head with your pitch, okay? That's not what we're trying to do. What you're trying to do is to create know, like, and trust. You've heard this before. First, they need to know you, then they need to like you, then they can trust you, okay? And after that, that's when you do business with them. So doing those weekly, daily posts is going to create that know, like, and trust, and then you can start a dialogue. That dialogue sometimes will start in the comments. Sometimes they'll message you through LinkedIn. Sometimes they'll just call you out of the blue. So that's one way that that happens with content. The other way that you can do, another primary way that you can start conversations with your target market is to focus in on other influencers or other people in your niche that are creating engagement within the LinkedIn platform. So if there's other people that are, say, for example, you're in the steel industry. Okay, I'm just going to give an example. And there's someone on LinkedIn that's very active in the steel industry, and they're posting and commenting and engaging on a regular basis. And you follow them, right? And you now start following their content. And let's say they work for a big steel company, or they're whatever, something to do with steel, right? Not a broker, not a carrier, but they're in the steel industry. And then what happens is you start a conversation inside of the comments, you start liking, commenting, you start engaging with that. And what's going to happen is you're going to notice a lot of other people that are in those comments are going to be similar to that person. Other people from the steel industry are going to have a tendency to comment and engage with that content. That's a great way to start a dialogue with one of your prospects, okay? Because you're in the comments. As long as you're not salesy and beating people over the head with your pitch, it's pretty easy to find, connect, and engage with people in that type of format, right? So that's another good one. Another way to engage with people is when you find, say, for example, you've got a lead list and it says Joe Smith from XYZ Widgets, okay? If you find that person on LinkedIn, and you have something in common with them, you can send a custom connection request to them with a non-salesy custom connection request where you are using some sales intelligence and something that you've garnered and learned to try to create a compelling sales hook. But before that, what you might want to do is you might want to look at the content that they've posted. If they've posted any content on LinkedIn, you can like, comment, and engage with that. And they're going to get pinged and notified that you actually participated in those conversations. And obviously that's going to create some familiarity. So those are three strategies you can use to find, connect, and engage with your prospects and your target audience on LinkedIn. I mean, there's a lot more to it. Obviously, I can't go into an hour or 2 or 3 hour training, but I will tell you that my freight broker, my no cold calling for freight brokers, which is my LinkedIn social selling system, is a part, well, last time it was a part of my freight broker sales accelerator program. I gave it away as a bonus. So if you guys are looking for help with sales, if you're looking for help with getting customers through LinkedIn, if you're looking for help with just getting shippers and growing your business, I'm going to be launching the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator soon. But you got to get on the wait list. The only way to be involved is to get on the wait list. Okay. So freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. The wait list is free. The program is not. It's not a cheap program. It's something where you're going to have to invest your hard-earned money, time, and energy. But I promise you that, the return on investment could be incredible if you take and deploy the strategies that I teach. Excuse me. All right. Any other questions? Those are all good questions today, guys. Very good questions. I appreciate it. If you found value, if you got value from the answers I provided you, make sure you hit the like button. If you got value from this video or this training in general, make sure you hit the like button, share the stream, and listen, it doesn't look like there's any more questions. So I know you guys are all busy. I'm going to let you guys, I'm going to let you run and get back to business. Appreciate you guys being here. I do a live training, my Freight Broker Bootcamp Live, every Monday at noon. So make sure you tune in. If you're curious about becoming a freight broker or a freight agent, check out freightbrokerbootcamp.com. Trained over 10,000 students, and we offer a 60-day, 100% unconditional money-back guarantee. And once again, if you guys need help with sales, with getting shippers, and you want me to personally coach you on my best freight broker sales strategies, tactics, tools, and my entire system, get on the wait list for the Freight Broker Sales Accelerator, freightbrokerbootcamp.com/waitlist. All right. Appreciate you guys being here. Awesome. Jomo, thank you so much. Appreciate the kind words. Thank you so much. And listen, have an awesome day. Have an awesome week. And we'll see you next week on the next Freight Broker Bootcamp Live.